take a look at why it's important for you to have a business plan and what you need to start thinking about as you evolve and develop your business plan. We're going to look at 4 main points. I'm going to talk to you about building a house and looking at the planning stages of building a house. We'll take a look at the before the book writing process, during the book writing process, and after the book writing process. So all these things are important as you look at building a business plan around writing your book. And we're going to make it really simple. This is not going to be a super in-depth, hey, let's make a detailed business plan and an outline. It's really about giving you some things to think about before you write a book. You need to have some sort of plan, kind of like a napkin plan at least, or an index card plan before you go out and, write this book. So let's first start out with point number 1, and that is building a house. So if I'm looking to build a house, right? When you look and you go in and you say, hey, I'm looking to build a house, and you walk in, there's an architect there, and he says, okay, cool, I'll build you a house. Just send me a check for $500,000 or $2 million, and I'll come up with something. Well, how do you know what he comes up with is going to be similar to what you're looking for? So instead, what you're trying to do is kind of create a little bit of a floor plan, right? You're trying to figure out, okay, well, I want this to kind of look like that, and I want, the house structure and setup to be a certain way. So you start constructing things through a plan. And if you don't have a plan, well, how do you know, he's not just gonna kind of build you a little trailer home and, get that set up and you just paid a whole bunch of money for a trailer? Well, that's the thing. You have a plan before you set out to build a house, depending on what you want it to look like. For some people, hey, maybe I want a very simple house. For other people, hey, I want, a 2-car garage over here on the side. I want it there, not under the house roof. So whatever your plan is, that's perfectly fine. But you got to have some sort of plan before you go into it. Otherwise, you're just going in completely blind. So having a plan in mind will get you the desired result, or at least kind of somewhat what you're looking for. Yes, maybe the intricacies of the paint color or the type of tile that you use in that house is going to be a little bit different or changes with what's available. But overall, at least you have some basic guideline or idea of what you're looking for. And that's the same thing as when you're looking to write your book. If you don't have a plan around writing your book, you might not get the desired results towards the end. And when it comes to the book writing process, I look at it like a spectrum. Okay, so when we look at it like a spectrum, kind of have it in 3 parts, right? So we have this before concept, we have this during, and we have the after part. Okay, so these are the 3 areas that really we're focusing on as we're writing and creating our book. So when we go to the before section, you got to think about a couple of different points. So you might think about these 3 things. So who's my audience? So here I have, let's say, audience. That might be point number 1. The next point you might be thinking about is, how do I get the traffic? How do I get the traffic to my sales page? Or how do I market the book? How am I going to do the marketing or promotion? So all these things might be things you need to think about. Now, I'm not saying you have to figure every single thing out to the T and be very analytical about it. Yes, there's some people that do that, but at least get your brain to start thinking about these things. Okay, what's going to be my audience? Who is going to be my audience? How am I going to get that audience? Where am I going to find them? How do I explore with that audience if this is the right topic? So already from here, this is just an idea for you to now start stemming into other little areas. So if your book, you're not sure about the audience, the demographic, start spreading this further. The traffic, again, start spreading that into other areas. Okay, where and what websites am I going to use? How am I going to get the traffic and resources to hit my sales page? The marketing, what is the marketing and promotion that I'm going to do? So this is all things you're thinking about beforehand. Now, granted, all of these things you'll want to think about before you even start the book. But as you go through the process, the main before things are, let's just say, audience, get traffic, and the marketing. Now, the next part would be during the writing process. So this is as you're writing, and there might be a couple of things you got to think about here. So this could be, hey, well, what's going to be my plan or storyline? Okay, so what am I actually writing about here? The actual topic, because it has to relate back to this audience? Okay, so how am I going to write it? So how am I going to get it done on paper? Is it going to be through dictation? Is it going to be through just typing it? Is somebody else going to ghostwrite it? How am I going to get it done? Then you might be, okay, so how do I proof it? Who's going to edit this book? Okay, so how do I get the editing done? So this is all still during the creation process. Okay, it could be also covers. How do I get the covers created? How do I get it, all set up with the design part, right? So this is all during that writing process. Okay, I got to think of a plan. So you might have kind of a mind map here of, okay, here's my central topic and here's all my other little topics or sub chapters there that go with the book. And then how do I write it, proof it, edit it, create the covers, and do all the design work that's necessary inside the book, the graphics, the visuals, to get it to completion. So this is during the writing process or during this creation process. So think of this as the create part. And then finally, the last step that you need to be thinking about is, okay, well, what's going to happen after I get done writing this book? And there's going to be a lot of things that go here, probably more so than the before part and even the during part. So you might say, okay, well, how am I going to sell it? How will I publish it? Okay, how is that going to work? How will I create the website that's going to work, or create the checkout? How am I going to take the payments for that, right? So the checkout and the payment section. How am I going to create upsells? Okay, are there going to be any upsells or downsells within the book or on the sales page? Is there going to be a video to market or promote the book? So who's going to write that sales copy? All of these things need to be taken into account. How about, let's just go over here, down here, email. How about an email newsletter list? Or what emails are you going to send out? All of those things need to be taken into account. How about the funnel or the sequence that people will go through? Again, to do the checkout page, are there going to be bulk purchases? Will you do any bonuses with that book? Like, let's say you buy 10 copies of the book to give to your friends, and I'll send you a bonus video or course or another thing with that as well. So these are all things you're thinking about, and you can see it's much more work after. How will I get, here's another one, reviews. How will I get the testimonials? Or let's just say video reviews or testimonials. That's even tougher. People aren't always tech savvy to submit those things. So all of these things you're thinking about. Is someone going to promote your book as well? So how about the affiliates? How will you handle those affiliates, or let's just say your group or team? Let's say customer support even, if there's problems. How about the file format that you'll have available? PDF, ebook, Kindle, that kind of stuff. All of these things need to be taken into account. And this is when you're done writing the book. Now you got to figure out, okay, well, how am I going to distribute it? The file formats, all these kinds of things. And you can see these all work together. So before you even get into thinking and writing the book, you're also thinking about, well, how am I going to really, hey, am I going to do the checkout? How am I going to do the website? What format am I going to distribute it? How am I going to do customer support? How about affiliates? Will I do affiliates? Am I going to do email marketing? Am I going to sell the books in bulk? Are there going to be bonuses with it? So you get that, all of these things you're thinking about already before you even get into the before stage of thinking about the traffic, the audience, the marketing part, and before you're even writing the book. And this just helps you fine tune to figure out what it is that's going to happen with that big picture. Think of this as your big plan for the marketing, for the book, before you even get into writing it. So you kind of have a somewhat expected outcome. Yes, sometimes things do change and the plan will get modified and adjusted, but overall, at least this gets you moving into a basic direction that you kind of want. So there you go. I hope this was helpful to getting you to start thinking about your business book plan and what really to start thinking about before you even get into writing your book. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see other great training videos like this one, get on my newsletter list, because that's where I send out news about new videos that are set to release, along with new books that I'm writing, new courses, products, discounts to those things, and much more.